Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Paramount Plus's and in theaters new film, Clifford the Big Red Dog. And I remember when I first heard this was going to be a thing, a live action Clifford movie, it's like big CGI dog, and you look at it and, it's a fine CGI dog. It's not fine when people are riding it and they look like horribly rendered rag dolls just sitting on top of a CGI red dog. So, effects, little inconsistent in this one, but this is from director Walt Becker, and this focuses on a young girl, Emily, played by Darby Camp, who, he's a fine little girl. She's from the Christmas Chronicles, and, she doesn't have a whole lot of depth or difficult things for her to do except for try to look cute, be more mature than her uncle, played by Jack Whitehall, Uncle Casey, who's such a walking stereotype of like, hey, I'm an immature dude, ha 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 ha. And so not a whole lot of nuance there, not a whole lot of interest there, and kind of gets annoying at times. But you have Darby Camp, and she enjoys Clifford. And Clifford is a cute CGI dog. And, does cute things and, messes up things and pops those giant, blow-up bubble things. But what's the conflict in the film? Well, Clifford doesn't really fit in. Some people think he's a heroic dog. Some people think he's a freak. Like at the very end of the movie where it's just like, Clifford just wants to live his life, but he's a freak. You can hear yelling off from the side. But the main conflict is Tony Hale plays this cartoonish and paper-thin villain who's just like, I want this dog so I could use it, and whatever made him big, I can make my things big. And you're just like, okay, Tony Hale. And Tony Hale definitely has a fun time with it. It is Tony Hale, and he's always having a fun time with things. And I have a fun time watching Tony Hale. Except, there's no depth to his character, and it's just kind of like Tony Hale trying to be Tony Hale. And you have this group of people that our young Emily is connected with in, her building and around where she lives. And they're all so random and weird and, out in left field and, tonally don't make any sense. And they all get roped in for this, go for broke rescue mission to try to get Clifford in, the third act of the film. And, this film hits a lot of beats that you'll expect. And it does have some nice messaging, It's pretty surface level, but, the whole idea of, don't judge something by how it looks or don't judge somebody how they look. And, and just because they're different doesn't mean they're a bad thing. And it's just okay, they're pretty standard kinds of themes that you see in a family movie. And this is very much a silly quirk, silly and just weird kind of film. And, not even from, a quirky and interesting kind of way. It's just weird because, idea of Clifford's weird. And, why is this dog red? And why John Cleese sign on to this movie to sleepwalk through some scenes. And in general, I feel there's enough care to it and enough messages to it to not make this a complete misfire. But still, it doesn't really, it has some really iffy CGI at times. It's very cliched and tropey without adding any kind of nuance or anything. There's definitely some really annoying characters, particularly Jack Whitehall's character. And, you have people like David Allen Greer who pop up in small roles and stuff like that, which is nice to see them. But you also have a whole cast full of random neighbors that are weird and don't make sense and really make it strange trying to figure things out in the third act of this film when they all get roped in for this mission. But in the end, I feel Clifford the Big Red Dog is something that little kids will enjoy. Hard pressed for adults to enjoy too much about it. There's some things that I think they could get a little bit out of. But in general, I think this is going to be one of those things where it's parents are dragged by their kids to go see Clifford the Big Red Dog, and they're not going to get a whole lot out of it. So in the end, this is kind of forgettable, passable, just, this is a family movie. It's on Paramount Plus along with being in theaters. So, the whole family can watch it at home right now. And, I think the kids will really enjoy it. And the parents will be like, well, I didn't hate it. So, that's what I got. But those are my thoughts on Clifford the Big Red Dog. Let me know what you think. And let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.